Hello folks, the White Guy here again. Welcome to my home on this very beautiful summer afternoon. The name of this video is called The White Guy Scars. Okay, I'll be the first one to admit, and just keep an eye on my new puppy. I'll be the first one to admit that what I'm about to share, I don't have this down. I don't. You know, in my youth, I remember praying to God to give me wisdom. That's what I wanted above all else, was just wisdom from God. And I remember someone quoting a passage to me that wisdom is one of those things that God will give you over and above what you ask for. I don't know what the address is of that, but I remember somebody saying that to me one time in my youth. And after they said that, that's all I wanted from God, was just wisdom. But anyway, like I said, the name of this video is called The White Guy Scars, and I'm hoping to offer some wisdom. Years ago, I crashed hang gliding due to jumping off of a mountain in Colorado. You know, let's just say that I personally know what a wind shear is, okay? Because it has caused me to stall, and I smacked right back into the same mountain I jumped off of. It ended up resulting in major damage, okay, to me, specifically to my left shattered elbow and arm. So at a church service, maybe about 3 days after surgery, a few days after the surgeon glued and screwed the larger broken bone fragments to a piece of stainless steel, God decided to instantaneously heal the bone, leaving absolutely no scar, none on the bone, where it was attached to the metal, and where missing pieces had left large gaps. You know, you got to understand, when surgeons aren't putting a puzzle together when there's major bone damage, okay? They're not like putting a puzzle together and fitting each little piece in. No, they just randomly grab pieces from the shattered arm and they put them as close to as they can, and they expect the bone to mend itself and mend each little pieces together. I hope that made sense. But anyway, after that church service where I told you I was instantaneously healed, I saw the x-rays the following day. And the metal remained, and now there's a huge scar that's going from below my shoulder to just below my elbow. It's rather large. It's probably a foot long. And anyway, I have no idea why the metal was left in my arm. But putting that aside, my point is to bring attention to the scar. All right? That's why this video is called The White Guy's Scar. I want to bring attention to my scar, or maybe not. And I'll explain here in just a minute. Would it be appropriate to focus in on the obvious scar all the time? Just keep looking at my scar all the time? Would it be for me to do that? And then ignore the miraculous healing of the bone underneath? Just because I have a scar there, am I to just ignore the fact that a miracle took place in my life? And the fact that there's still a chunk of metal in there. You know, should I focus on those things rather than the healing? Is that what I should do? Now, I mean that as not sarcastically, but rhetorically, okay? Well, folks, that's precisely what too many of my friends on Facebook, and maybe many of what you guys are doing. Right now, I don't know. So many have been wounded, okay, by the people within Christendom, within Christianity, so much so that their experiences have left deep scars as proof of being damaged, all right? So please, I implore you, folks, not to focus in on those scars that are a constant reminder of the pain that you've endured, but focus on the healing that has taken place, okay, deep inside of you, and is still taking place with all of us. Believe me, I've been wounded too. I know my reactions to people are hypocritical at times. I realize that. But it's true that the various people who cause damage, they are simply reacting due to the damage within them. Okay, I don't have to be a psychologist, a psychology major, to know that this is true. In some cases, I see it like this, okay? They want to have justice for the shit that they've witnessed or have endured in their lives. They just want to see justice, something. And man, do I relate. In most cases, the offense to them was done by a fellow human being who is also damaged goods. You following me? So when people like us who have been healed, okay, who have been healed specifically of the damage caused by the doctrine of hell, and then we want to share about it because we're so excited. I know what it's like. We want to share it. Well, those folks, some of those folks feel like we're pouring salt on their open wounds, folks, by proclaiming how people, this is how they perceive us, how people are going to simply get away with harming them and many others. That's how they think. All right? I get it. I really do. So what's going on with these people who refuse to listen to our good news message? The good news message is that Christ is going to, because of his acts, his obedience, all the way to the cross even. I mean, how many of us would be willing just to lay down our lives for total strangers? Because of his acts of love and obedience, because of those things, all of creation is going to be reconciled unto God. That's the good news. But yet these people don't want to listen to that because they feel that people who have done them harm and doing harm all throughout the world, I'm saying nothing new here, they're going to get away with it. That is what it boils down to, folks. What's happening is they too are totally focusing in on their scars instead of trusting God for a healing. The amount of healing that takes place when you repent, when you change your mind of a belief in a loving God sending countless people to hell, when you repent of that, that's when the healing really takes place. I can't stress that more enough. I just can't. Because how a belief in hell is a healing balm for these folks, okay, that are so wounded, that's a mystery to me. How hell is a healing balm somehow. And not only that, but they don't believe the offender, which could be a child molester or a mass murderer, that they're even worthy of God's healing, because apparently they are an unrepentant piece of garbage that doesn't care about what they've done. I do relate with these feelings. I really do. However, if you don't remember anything else in this video, try to remember this. Try to remember this. If people were honest without realizing it, justice is the healing that we all seek rather than vengeance. Look deep down inside of you. Yet, vengeance and not justice is what the hell doctrine is promoting, folks. True justice is a broken heart of a person who has hurt so many others. If their heart was broken because of what they did to other people, that's true justice. And that becomes a heart of flesh that God can use and heal. Okay? I find it interesting and humbling to know that Jesus is the only one, speaking of scars, okay, that I showed you, or that I explained that's on my arm, that Jesus is the only one in all of creation for an eternity that will have the scars in his hands and his feet and on his forehead or on his head. Okay? They're not there as a reminder to him, but they are there as a reminder for our sakes going forward into the eternity. It's a reminder for all of creation to see what mankind did when we murdered Jesus. Okay? And it's not for the purpose to shame anyone, but as a means to express God's nature of forgiveness and agape, unconditional love. Consider all this the next time when a damaged Christian who is still focusing in on their scars that sin has caused, rather than how they're focusing on that, rather than the healing that Jesus provided. When they ask you, why did Jesus come? If not to save us from hell. And why should we preach the gospel if people are going to just simply get away with what they do? So remember that. Remember this video if you can. Healing, in closing this video, healing for both the offenders and the victims is what reconciliation is all about. It's just not a one-sided coin here, folks. Lest we not forget that all of us are guilty of being the offender from time to time. We are. Yet we get away with so very much as well. See, what makes you or I any better than anyone else? Well, at least I didn't molest children and. For all have sinned and fall short of the glory of God. I'm sure you get it, okay? This is just, what I'm sharing here is just as much, is meant just as much for me, folks, as anyone else. And I know that way down in my heart, okay? So I want to tell myself, focus on the healing, why guy? I know, but it's just so hard sometimes, and I understand. Look me up on Facebook under a group called the White Guy Group, okay? I have an avatar name also, a separate timeline, because White Guy Group is a private group. I have an avatar, open public avatar name of John Anthony Jones, okay? Not Jonathan, but John Anthony. I misspelled it, because it's not my name. Anyway, look me up there too. I always post things like this, and I get the feedback from folks, my friends on Facebook, in order to present a better video. So what I do is I take some of the notes from what I've shared on blogs and posts, and then I take the comments that people say and respond with, and I get a feeling of how they're reacting to it and all that. And it makes a very good video. So these videos that I'm doing, I must thank my Facebook friends, because they're the ones that's literally doing this. I'm just the guy there in front of the camera. So it's kind of neat. It's really a neat journey. It's kind of fun. It really is. Well, just I better go. My little puppy is crying to be let back in. Thank you for viewing.